all those years of service. Good afternoon, Hotline.
How you doing today, man? What's the good word?
Not too much.
Yeah, I got a question, actually. Well, what is your take on that whole case with the sheriffs? I mean, at what point did a sworn law enforcement officer in the United States of America, an adult over the age of 18, thought it made sense to take her top off and bare her totally bare breasts in the commission of something like that without seeing a command member, someone who's higher up, stating that's okay?
Well, I think someone higher up did say it was okay. I don't think it's right under any circumstances. First of all, I don't care who's supervising it. If that's what happened, because those are employees. I'm not wild on some of these things that are cooked up to catch a predator things, and particularly when you're doing something like that, where you're kind of staging something and then using an employee. It's a prima facie case of improper behavior in the workplace. I don't care who signs what.
Well, I mean, I understand, an officer of the law being used in a situation like that. It does happen often, but there's a point where she should have said, "Whoa, wait a minute here." I mean, you could have warned.
No, simply because it's taking. There's no nice way to say it. If it is as it's portrayed, and we don't know all the details, obviously, it's from an employer standpoint, a supervisor standpoint, predatory on the face of it, because you're using someone and convincing them because they're a subordinate they should do something. Maybe they want to please, maybe they want to be good whatever's employees or something. Now, granted, judgment may be flawed all the way around. There's a lot to be said for the individuals. My understanding on this from insiders is that, the feeling is there is some culpability. It may not be quite as one-sided as is portrayed in the plaintiff's suit, but it never is. But I would dare say that I think they got a problem there, and they know it.
Oh, I'm not saying that she was at fault. I'm just saying, honestly, somebody there should have said, what is going on here? We're trying to catch someone in Watertown, New York. Be honest with yourself. Watertown. This is not a county or a town where you're pushing the envelope of hotness, per se. I mean, a young woman in a tight T-shirt would probably have sufficed.
Well, no, I mean, that's not, that kind of makes light of it. I know what you're trying to say, but it really was kind of a troublesome incident as described, and in a workplace setting in this day and age. And
I feel for the young lady, without a doubt. She definitely, being younger as a person, not a woman or man, but a younger person, influential or in a job they like, and being influenced by the superiors. Hey, it'll help your career, this and that.
Well, there's a lot of things that are done in the name of law and order or whatever. In terms of, there's a lot of things that to me, from my point of view, are borderline or definite entrapment or creating situations that wouldn't have occurred naturally. I'm not here to excuse bad behavior. I'm saying I think that, for instance, that NBC program, To Catch a Predator, I've often thought that thing invokes things happening that wouldn't necessarily be happening otherwise. And when you've got a group running it on behalf of NBC that calls itself Perverted Nation, what is their gig in all of it? So, the whole thing is, I don't know, it kind of gives you the creeps.
No, I agree. And, you're right with those shows, and you see how they do set people up like that. Some of it, you're right.
Don't get me wrong, I watched them. I got tired of it after a while because it was the same script every time.
Right.
The same stupid people saying the same stupid things to Chris Hansen and all of that stuff. And they had somebody in, God, it was so hokey. They had some young lady who dress up and try to, I don't know. It's hokey, to say the least. And in this particular case, no excuse for it.
Understand. Listen, you have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Talk to you later.
755-1240 is the phone number if you'd like to give us a call to be on the hotline today. But we're not going to litigate it here because what do we know? But we're not participants in it, so I guess we can comment on it. It's tough when you're in county government and so on, because it's one of those things. If you're the defendant in this case, and anyone in the defendant in a civil case may say, well, geez, I wish I had done things differently, or that's not the ideal set of circumstances, but you can't admit to any of that. You just got to stonewall it. and in hopes of dragging the process out, you wear down the plaintiff, and hopefully they'll, either settle or drop it, but probably settle at some later date. That's how it works, unless you're prepared to go to trial, and very few of these things ever do. So, rope-a-dope strategy for as long as you can, and just keep your mouth shut and keep dragging it out procedurally, and then see what happens 2-3 years down the line. Because there's a point at which plaintiffs and defendants want to get on with their lives and not have something hanging out there, and that's when settlements usually occur. Based on my experience, I'm not a lawyer, nor do I claim to be one, but that's generally what happens in a lot of these cases. 755-1240 is the phone number if you'd like to give us a call to be on the hotline today. America's favorite noontime talk show is on the air, as we are every Monday through Friday at this time. Now, a lot of these, I don't know how they do, a lot of these governments settle on things, and they never disclose them. I mean, to me, that's like anathema to anything. I mean, we had that case we had to settle a couple of years ago. I mean, it was right out there. I mean, it was $600,000, whatever it was. And, but this thing won't be resolved for quite a while. And it'll fall into the sort of well, we can't comment because it's pending litigation thing, and then you won't hear about it for quite a while. There'll be various court proceedings, motions, efforts at discovery and all of that stuff, depositions. That won't get news coverage, and unless somebody releases a transcript. And so, which sometimes happens if it suits one side's interest or the other. But I don't see it being resolved for some time, either through it being dismissed, withdrawn, or settled, or go to trial. 755-1240 is the phone number if you'd like to give us a call to be on the hotline today, America's favorite noontime talk show. And we'll be back with a little bit more.